New England Patriots pick Mac Jones at number 15. Here is what they're getting. Dallas Cowboys pick Micah Parsons at number 12. Here is what they're getting. Philadelphia Eagles pick DeVonta Smith at number 10. Here is what they're getting. Chicago Bears pick Justin Fields at number 11. Here is what they're getting. Detroit Lions pick Penei Sewell at number 7. Here is what they're getting. The Bengals pick Jamar Chase at number 5. Here is what they're getting. Dolphins pick Jalen Waddle at number 6. Here is what they're getting. 49ers pick Trey Lance at number 3. Here is what they're getting. Kyle Pitts on fit as an Atlanta Falcon. Pretty fun to see. Jets pick Zach Wilson at number 2. Here is what they're getting. Jaguars pick Trevor Lawrence at number 1. Here is what they're getting. Virtual Radio Row. Cowboys legend Emmitt Smith explains why Dallas hasn't won a Super Bowl in 25 years. Which horse have the best chance to win the Kentucky Derby? Watch. FSU quarterbacks Jordan Travis and Mackenzie Milton speak after spring game. I'm pretty close to doing everything. Cowboys Prescott says he's sprinting. Throwing on the run. Survivor of Justin Bannon shooting speaks out alas. But first impressions are what they are. We'll call them grades if we must. And who am I to not give the people what they want? However, let's strive to pull back for a big picture look at each club's draft rather than judging them in a vacuum that doesn't include trades and other considerations that more accurately frame each haul. So, with that, here are your ridiculously premature 2021 NFL draft grades, with team classes ranked from best to worst. Load error. Keeping first-round RB Travis Etienne, another Clemson product, teamed with Lawrence makes perfect sense, while second-round OT Walker Little and third-round Andre Cisco have significant upside if fully healthy. Second-round CB Tyson Campbell has great physical traits but needs to polish his football skills. But, again, gravy. After eschewing trade-down opportunities in his first 8 drafts as a general manager, Dave Gettleman couldn't get enough of it Thursday and Friday, parlaying deals with the Bears and Dolphins into first, second and fourth round picks in 2022. As for Gettleman's actual draft board, and Thursday's deal with Chicago suggests he didn't want to miss out on Alabama's DeVonta Smith. It seemed he stacked it well since he wasn't a slave to his beloved hog mollies. Round 1 WR Kadarius Toney and Round 2 OLB Azeez Ojulari both have first-round ability, and Toney should help third-year QB Daniel Jones get going in the right direction. If the mandate was indeed to provide direct support to second-year QB Jalen Hurts, not a much better way to do it than going to Alabama for Heisman Trophy-winning WR DeVonta Smith in Round 1 and highly regarded blocker Landon Dickerson in Round 2. Fifth-round RB Kenneth Gainwell could be a boon to a run game that hasn't had a 1,000-yard rusher since LaShawn McCoy in 2014. And other pre-draft moves, including parting with QB Carson Wentz, mean this team is likely to have 3 first-rounders next year. Not bad. GM Andrew Berry's defense could approach elite territory after he took CB Greg Newsome 2 in Round 1 and then made a targeted move to rescue LB Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, widely perceived as a first-round talent, with the 52nd pick. Keep an eye on 5th round Richard LeCounte 3. It fell pretty nicely to the Bolts, but their top 2 choices, OT Rashawn Slater in Round 1 and CB Asante Samuel Jr. in Round 2, have a chance to be franchise cornerstones. Slater the bodyguard this offense needed to get for Offensive Rookie of the Year Justin Herbert. Pass rusher Chris Rumph 2, Round 4, could blossom under new coach Brandon Staley. Rookie GM Scott Fitterer was quite active before and during the draft and has already recouped some of what he spent on Darnold. Since then, Fitterer has busily gone to work in a bid to help his new quarterback, something the Jets didn't do nearly enough. W.R. Terrace Marshall Jr., L.T. Brady Christensen, Tay Tommy Tremble and R.B. Chuba Hubbard all coming after Round 1. And that first round did net CB J.C. Horn, the first defender picked in 2021. Fitterer will need to hope Marshall is healthy enough to contribute and that he didn't miscalculate when Fields was available at number 8, but plenty for the people of Charlotte to be pumped about. Can't argue sitting out the first round, once again, because the pick was used to get all-pro CB Jalen Ramsey. Can argue spending your top selection in Round 2 on a luxury item like WR Tutu Atwell given speedster Deshaun Jackson had already signed on. Can't argue using the third rounder to get QB Matthew Stafford, though whether he's worth a pair of future firsts remains to be seen. Can argue how well the rest of the selections were deployed given you're distracted by the dazzling sunshine reflecting off the Pacific Ocean in your Malibu Rams house. Draft HQ. Reuniting LSU star WR Jamar Chase with former Tigers. Teammate Joe Burrow has to be exciting for Cincy fans and could make this offense really special if Chase is as good as advertised. The Bengals next went for protection for Burrow, O.L. Jackson Carman, before continuing to bolster a pass rush. It had a league-low 17 sacks in 2020 with DeJoseph Osai and Cameron Sample. Taking a kicker, Evan McPherson, as high as the 5th round is usually a dicey proposition. They don't seem to be garnering much national attention despite arguably procuring the draft's top cornerback late in round 1, Caleb Farley, who is recovering from back surgery, its top slot corner in round 3, Elijah Molden, while presumably, finally, stopping a revolving door at right tackle by getting Dylan Raduns in round 2 a year after losing All-Pro Jack Conklin in free agency and then blowing a first-round choice on now former Titan Isaiah Wilson. Did they get too cute with their circuitous route from number 3 to number 6? TBD. But this much is sure. Despite a sensible near-term commitment to help second-year QB Tua Tagovailoa, neither Pitts nor Chase is walking through that door. It will be a moot point if Wr. Jalen Waddle, a teammate of Tagovailoa's at Alabama, becomes the second coming of Tyreek Hill, to whom he's been compared. And, collectively, first round to Jalen Phillips, second round S. Javon Holland and OT Liam Eichenberg and third round Tay Hunter Long could form a strong class. But the Finns' future considerations could have a hard time compensating for the immediate opportunity cost. Imposing LB Zaven Collins, round 1. He might be a better NFL fit than 2020's number 8 pick, Isaiah Simmons, diminutive but explosive Wr. Rondale Moore, round 2. And the acquisition of Pro Bowl C. Rodney Hudson for a third-rounder seems like a pretty good way to invest your top 3 selections. However, waiting until Saturday to get corner help might come back to haunt them. They've also largely remained intact since January's AFC title game loss at Kansas City, a defeat that served a reminder that it's probably going to be incumbent to make Chiefs QB Patrick Mahomes' life miserable in the future. Mahomes was only sacked once in that game. Perhaps not coincidentally, the Bills' first 2 picks were pass rushers, Greg Rousseau and Carlos Boogie Basham, who provide a double dose of heat and youth to a front that needed both given how much Sean McDermott's defense has become uncharacteristically reliant on blitzes in recent years. Worth wondering if Buffalo should have targeted another running back in the middle rounds rather than offensive line depth. They made a more than reasonable investment to get Wentz, spending this year's third-rounder and a 2022 second-rounder that becomes a first. But basically only if Wentz stays on the field. But the Colts opted for Kwity Paye in round 1 and the former Michigan star might be this draft's premier edge prospect, but then took Tadeo Odiingbo in the second round even though an Achilles injury might keep him off the field in 2021. Very curious that GM Chris Ballard didn't more aggressively pursue a left tackle replacement for retired Anthony Costanzo given Wentz was sacked a league-high 50 times in just 12 games last season. When you pick at the end of every round, it can be a little hard to get excited about players like first-round DePayton Turner, second-round LB Pete Werner and third-round CB Paulson Adebo, all with lower Q scores than their more high-profile peers. But all were productive in college, as was well-known Notre Dame QB Ian Book, round 4, and this organization has generally drafted well in recent years. They took some big swings, and first-round Wr. Rashad Bateman and Deodafe Owe both have the potential to be home runs or strikeouts. Owe, a physically gifted player who nevertheless had 0 sacks for Penn State in 2020, but a man who essentially winds up being the compensation in the trade of Orlando Brown. The round 5 roll of the dice on CB Shaun Wade could be a good one, given they only had 3 picks. Pretty flabbergasting, to QB Russell Wilson and the 12s, that their highest one was used for a wide receiver, Dwayne Eskridge in round 2. It should be noted that G. Gabe Jackson was plucked from the Raiders, and later extended, for a 5th rounder in March. But it remains to be seen if S. Jamal Adams was worth a pair of round 1 choices, though the Seahawks tend to muck those up anyway, especially given how he was picked on by the Rams in the playoffs. They got some nice players, though first-round LB Hameen Davis must prove he's not a one-year wonder, and third-year Wr. Diami Brown must prove he's not a one-trick pony, even if his trick is script flipping speed. But did they err by not more aggressively pursuing QBs Fields and Mac Jones, who were both in striking distance of Washington's number 19 selection Thursday evening? ****.